Now at 7, no running water, peeling paint, and rust everywhere. It's not the place you want to stay long, even as a tourist.
I think this would be a terrible place to be. Like, it's crazy how small the cells are.
Tonight, we take you on a tour inside Alcatraz to see if President Trump's plan to turn it back into a prison is realistic. People who work Napa Valley vineyards living in fear, worried that they might be deported next.
They don't want to drive. The kids aren't wanting to go to school.
The big financial boost to help protect them. And a sad routine caught on video. The owner of an Oakland bar is picking up the pieces after being burglarized yet again.
Here we go again. It's our 11th time being broken into in 4 years.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Today, President Trump doubled down on his plan to reopen Alcatraz to house what he calls some of the most violent criminals in the nation. The Rock was once home to the worst of the worst, including mobster Al Capone and Robert the Birdman Stroud. The prison closed in 1963 because it was just too expensive to operate and reopened as a tourist attraction 10 years later. So after all these decades, does restoring Alcatraz even make sense? Our Lauren Toms hopped on a boat today and toured the former prison.
Well, being here on Alcatraz Island, you're reminded of many of the reasons why it closed in the first place. Take a look at this building behind me. It's an old warden's house that burned down many, many years ago, but it's just one of the many buildings on Alcatraz that hasn't seen any updates since well before its closure in the 1960s.
It's not livable. That there's no way that human beings can actually be able to live in a place like this.
Ryan Ike is one of several tourists we spoke to who are shocked by President Trump's proposal to reopen Alcatraz Island as a functioning federal prison for violent offenders. It closed in 1963 because of its crumbling infrastructure and high maintenance costs.
There's no way it's livable. There's no way it's humane. And imagine what that would do to somebody's psyche. And imagine say they are they've done bad things or drugs or whatever, or they've murdered somebody or whatever, they're still a human being. They still need to be treated in a way where they can be rehabilitated.
Peeking inside the stalls, you're reminded of those conditions: peeling paint, flickering lights, rusted gates, and cells that only measure 9 feet long by 3 feet wide.
I think this would be a terrible place to be. It's crazy how small the cells are.
Even in 1963, the prison was behind the times. Historian John Martini says natural elements have caused its decay to speed up.
There's no running water. There's no heat. There's no sewage. Many of the cells have yet to be abated of hazmat stuff like lead paint. So these were all challenges that were present even when the prison was operating. They've just been exasperated over the last 60 years.
Its closure was prompted not just by its poor living conditions, but because it was just too costly.
It's on a rock in the middle of San Francisco Bay. There's no fresh water. Everything from diesel fuel for the generators to potable water, it all had to come out by boat. And they had to have boats running constantly, carrying supplies, carrying staff and families back and forth. It was estimated that it cost 3 times as much to keep a convict on Alcatraz as a similar prison located on the mainland.
The infamous island prison is now a national park and a designated National Historic Landmark, but it's also a moneymaker, bringing in $60 million a year and supporting other businesses and jobs. Today, Ryan walks the island not as a guard or inmate, but as a witness to a chapter of history he believes should stay closed.
I think that Alcatraz should stay as federal property and in the national park system so we can learn from our mistakes as a nation.
President Trump said he is directing the Bureau of Prisons to reopen Alcatraz, but did not provide any more details or a timeline. Governor Newsom and San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie were quick to dismiss the idea.
This is not a serious proposal.
I don't know if he's watching The Rock or what inspired this. I mean, you can't even come up with a more colossally bad fiscal idea. Nothing about this makes any sense.
Other legal hurdles should the plan move forward. Alcatraz is a designated National Historic Landmark. Its many species of birds are also protected by federal environmental laws. Now to another plan by President Trump in his quest to get illegal immigrants out of the country. He announced today that his administration would pay $1,000 to anyone who leaves the U.S. and returns to their home country voluntarily.
Where we're going to pay each one a certain amount of money, and we're going to get them a beautiful flight back to where they came from, and they have a period of time. And if they make it, we're going to work with them so that maybe someday, with a little work, they can come back in if they're good people.
The administration says participants would first have to sign up through the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol app. The government says it has tracked thousands of self-deportations so far. President Trump's crackdown on immigration has sparked a lot of fear among those who work Napa Valley's vineyards. But tonight, a local nonprofit is celebrating a big donation that will help expand its immigrant center. Our Suji Nam has more on how it will help protect those who live in the shadows.
When Miriam Puentes walks through the parallel rows of grapevines, she sees a dream, her father's dream.
We are immigrants from Guanajuato, Mexico. We moved here in the 80s.
She remembers her childhood helping her family who were farmers.
I remember that supervisors would call that ICE was around, so everybody would run to hide. So I lived that.
Puentes sees that same fear in the vineyards and homes of immigrant workers in wine country.
They don't want to drive. The kids aren't wanting to go to school because they're scared that they won't see their parents again.
Immigrants make up 73% of Napa County's agricultural industry, according to a 2012 report by the Migration Policy Institute. The report also says about 1/3 of those immigrants are undocumented.
Buenos días, Puertas Abiertas.
Puertas Abiertas Community Resource Center in Napa is getting a big boost to help the community.
Our responsibility is educating our community to know that they have rights. Whatever their immigration status is, they have rights.
Esmeralda Gill, the nonprofit's interim head, says they've recently received a major donation. A new building valued at over $3 million. The new site is in a more visible location and more accessible by public transportation.
Be the space where we're able to hold cultural classes and our workshops, like we have labor rights workshops.
She adds they've recently been handing out more pamphlets and Know Your Rights cards to educate the community.
Here at Puertas Abiertas, we're all kids of immigrants or immigrants ourselves, and we've lived a lot of these experiences, which is what makes our center very important.
Puentes knows a little help can go a long way. She saw it firsthand with her father.
It was an opportunity that his boss gave him. He told him, Honorio, if you learn to speak English, I have a job for you in the production room. So that was motivation enough for my father.
Puentes took that motivation and built Onrama Cellars in Sonoma, producing nearly 3,000 cases of wine yearly. A success story that's bigger than her.
But it's not just the story of my father, it's the story of everybody that comes here looking for an opportunity.
Puentes says she wants to be that safe space for hardworking immigrants, just like her father.
The center will be moving to its new location in July. On to a developing story. A person is in custody after a stabbing in a barber shop in unincorporated San Jose. Here's new video. It shows the crime scene on South Bascom Avenue. Just after 3:30, deputies responded and found a man with a stab wound. He was taken to the hospital. There was a long standoff with a suspect inside the barber shop. Deputies took everyone out of the business and now have a person of interest in custody. A robbery at a popular LGBTQ nightclub in the heart of downtown Oakland was caught on camera. The owners of Rico nightclub gave us this surveillance video from last Tuesday. So you can see two people in masks. They were breaking into a storage room and leaving with a cart full of stuff. They were even captured on a ring cam with a clearer look at the faces there. It caused about $5,000 in damage and took thousands of dollars worth of alcohol. This is the 11th time they've been robbed over the last few years. The owner tells us insurance isn't covering it.
No. As a small business, you can't really turn into insurance because they're going to drop you, and the sad part is we actually got dropped last month regardless of having any claims.
He says over the last 4 years, the club lost an estimated $100,000 in damages and product replacement from break-ins. The store will be holding a fundraiser tomorrow. They'll be selling $1 tacos to hopefully recoup some of the damages. A fire at the Valero Refinery in Benicia was put out after sending out dark plumes of smoke into the air this morning. It started around 9 a.m. and briefly triggered a shelter-in-place order that included a nearby school. The fire was put out about 90 minutes later. No one was hurt, and the cause is still unknown. And coming up, Chase Center, it gets a new look as the Valkyries get ready for their first preseason game. We're going to show that to you. There you go. And the clock is ticking. Oh, yes, it is. The new Real ID requirements. They start this week, but are Californians ready?
No, I don't. I have the Real ID. I do not have the Real ID yet.
No, I don't.
So less than 24 hours to go, Paul.
Yep, and we had blustery conditions across the Bay Area today. Winds got up to 87 miles an hour on top of Mount St. Helena, one of the strongest gusts. Elsewhere, generally in the 25 to 45 mile an hour range for those strongest gusts. Not as breezy tomorrow, and cooler temperatures are in store too. Details coming up in First Alert Weather.
I'm Mo Billings with the Valkyries. We're counting down to tip-off on KPIX and Pix Plus.
You betcha. Less than 24 hours until the Golden State Valkyries will make their debut as the WNBA's newest team at Chase Center. They are taking on the LA Sparks in their first ever preseason game. If you didn't hear him already, Vern Glenn joins us now with the very latest. He is fired up. I am too.
Kidding me? Let's go.
Let's do it.
This is something exciting. Jules, we're on the eve of tip-off.
I know.
At Chase Center on the floor where the floor has been covered in Valkyrie violet. I'm told that I'm so excited about this
Okay,
one.
I'll move over here so they can hear you.
It's the first ever
Yes.
preseason game.
Woo!
It's finally here. Yeah, I'm so excited. We've been working hard. We've been beating up on each other, so it'll be nice to beat up on someone else tomorrow.
They're pumped. They're ready to go. They're probably not going to sleep, if I had to guess.
Can you let yourself kind of visualize what that atmosphere is going to be like?
I visualize that pretty much every night before I go to sleep.
So, Jules, when they wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be game day at Chase Center. The Valkyries, again, they host the LA Sparks. We're going to try and get a little NorCal-SoCal rivalry going. Head coach Natalie Nicasi has a plan to make sure they combat the pregame jitters.
I'm big on making a fool of myself. If I can make them laugh, I think that's the best thing. So, like, I'm probably going to tell the coaches, y'all want to dance tomorrow? Because we might have to dance just to loosen them up. You know, like at the end of the day, when you step on that court for the first time in Chase, you got to have fun and you got to be free. So we might have to get another dance routine tomorrow, but don't tell them. Well, you guys are going to tell them. But
Yeah, maybe we should try that on the green screen set tomorrow. It'll be me and Laisha Clarington for pregame at 6:30. The Valkyries and Sparks, where they run the floor at 7 p.m. on Pix Plus, and you don't want to miss the Laisha Clarington, Vern Glenn handshake. So a special thing we got going.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
But you have to tune in to see it.
Looking forward to it, Vern. Thank you. Okay, you can watch the Valkyries' first ever preseason game tomorrow live on Pix Plus. We'll have pregame and postgame analysis live with tip-off at 7 p.m. All right, I don't know if you can top this. Now our weather, sunny and warm temps today. The perfect conditions to enjoy some time outside. These people had the right idea at Todos Santos Plaza in Concord. Paul, can you have that much energy that Vern just had? What do you think?
Anybody can have that much energy.
That's true. We love him for it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's exciting. So many games to come.
You've got that kind of cool, what do we call it? Just that
Even-keeled.
Okay, even-keeled. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, it's the 2.5 decades of covering severe weather and all sorts of, you don't get to get too
But you're
amped
smart
up
witty.
when that's
You're
happening.
smart witty. You have good comebacks.
Well, I aim for that. Occasionally. I find
just trying to help the guy
something
out.
somewhere on the target. Let's take a look at what's happening out there as we head through the rest of this week. We had unseasonably warm weather today, along with those gusty offshore winds. Tomorrow, we get back to onshore winds, and the temperatures are going to return to closer to normal, even if they're mostly going to be still slightly on the positive side of average. More cloud cover and cooler temperatures do arrive on Wednesday, but then we warm right back up on the other side of the temperature roller coaster Thursday and Friday. before we tumble back down the other side. Showers even possible as we head into early next week. We'll look at that in just a second. Looking outside from the top of Salesforce Tower, just a few high clouds out there filtering the sunshine but not blocking it. Temperature in San Francisco is still 72 degrees. Average high is 64. We topped out at 82 degrees today, the warmest temperature in the city so far in 2025. 74 degrees right now across the bay in Oakland. Just below 80 in San Jose. Inland temperatures in Concord, Livermore, and in Santa Rosa still running in the low to mid 80s. So it'll be a slow drop in temperatures. We're not going to see a whole lot of fog as we head through most of the night, but what we do see is going to be surging up from the south. That southerly surge isn't going to really approach the Bay Area until after midnight, but you'll be back underneath the clouds along the coast for much of the day tomorrow. Maybe it's a little bit of a clearing trend as we head into the afternoon. Other than that little finger of fog poking through the Golden Gate, I don't think we're going to see a big intrusion of the fog into those inland valleys by early tomorrow morning, so that's not going to be a factor that slows down the warm-up. High temperatures inland are still going to be about 4 to 8 degrees above normal, as opposed to the 10 to 15 degrees above normal that we were today. But back to normal temperatures at the coast, low 60s there with mid 60s in San Francisco. Mostly 70s for the North Bay, up to 81 degrees though in Healdsburg, and a few spots east of the Oakland Hills also getting up into the low 80s. 82 Fairfield, 83 degrees in Antioch. Bayside temperatures mostly in the low to mid 70s, with temperatures in the Santa Clara Valley reaching up into a mix of the upper 70s and low 80s. That breeze is going to pick back up during the afternoon. Well, let's track those hour-by-hour wind gusts as we head through the next couple of days. And while it's not going to be as blustery as what we had today, the offshore wind that's still out there right now for the North Bay especially is going to pivot and become an onshore breeze tomorrow, and a stronger onshore breeze is in store for us on Wednesday. That'll knock those temperatures back down to near average, or maybe even a little bit below average across the entire Bay Area. But again, it's kind of a short-lived cool down. We'll warm back up again already by Thursday and Friday. In terms of that rain chance next week, we're still several days out from it arriving. So this is the time frame where we look at our various forecast models, and it's nice to display them side by side here so we can see where they agree and maybe where they disagree. And they do agree that most of the moisture is going to miss us to the north, but close enough, especially Monday into Monday night, that at least the North Bay has a decent chance of showers. The European forecast model is a little more enthusiastic about trying to bring that moisture a little deeper into the Bay Area by Monday night into early Tuesday. It's not likely to amount to much more than a couple hundredths of an inch of rain. And typically this time of year, even if we're looking at something about a week out, a lot of times it's Lucy holding the football for Charlie Brown, where we get excited about a chance of maybe a little bit of rainfall, and then it kind of dwindles and fades away. We'll let you know how things shape up in case you need to adjust any outdoor plans early next week. For now, though, we'll just add that chance of showers to the forecast on Monday. Up and down temperatures along the coast, but no major ups and downs there. You're going to stay pretty consistently in the upper 50s and low 60s. Bayside, a bit more of an up and down pattern. Temperatures will be slightly above normal tomorrow. Back to near average Wednesday and Thursday, and then more of a warm-up on Friday that doesn't last long, and we drop off to well below normal temperatures by Monday of next week. Even if the showers miss us, I think the cooler air is going to make itself felt by early next week. So temperatures inland go from the upper 80s on Friday to only the upper 60s on Monday. That is quite a turnaround. Weather whiplash kicking in across the Bay Area as we head towards the midpoint of May.
No, thank you so much, Paul. Okay, we've been warned for years, but are Californians ready for the new Real ID rules to take effect? We will show you next. Little over 24 hours to go before you will be required to have a Real ID to travel. The TSA's new rules go into effect on Wednesday. So are travelers ready for the change? At the Ontario airport in Southern California, 10 random travelers were asked if they had their new ID card. Only 4 did.
No, I don't. I have the Real ID. I do not have the Real ID yet.
No, I don't.
I don't have the Real ID at all.
Okay, they're honest. DMV offices are busier than ever, but at this point, it may take several weeks to get an appointment. So you do still have other travel options, including a passport, a green card, and a military ID. For the first time since the pandemic, California's tourism forecast is projected to be lower than the year before. Tourism Economics anticipates a 1% drop overall in 2025. This after a record 2024 when travelers in California spent more than $157 billion. The forecasts for 2025 predict a 9% decline when it comes to international visitors. Up next, we're going to take you to the Met Gala. Oh, yeah, to give you a look at the boldest celebrity fashion statements and a surprise baby reveal. It is the first Monday in May. That means tonight, A-list celebrities and patrons of the arts are walking the blue carpet for the Met Gala. This year's theme is superfine tailoring black style. So the Queen of Motown, Diana Ross, stunned in a vintage dress and a massive feathered train. Get this, it took 6 men to help her get to the top of the Met steps. Actress Demi Moore, showed up in a striped dress that looked like a necktie. And then actor Coleman Domingo wore a bright blue Valentino robe. And it is confirmed Rihanna is expecting baby number 3 with rapper A$AP Rocky. She was seen with a baby bump walking into the Carlisle Hotel ahead of the gala. Thanks so much for watching. The news continues at 8 on Pix Plus or 44 Cable 12. We'll see you right back here at 11 o'clock. Have a great evening.